Well, good morning, all. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. Now, before I begin the morning's announcement, let me just take one moment to mention Captain Robert Melton, a 17-year veteran of the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department, who was shot and killed in the line of duty yesterday while responding to a call about a drive-by shooting. Our hearts go out to Captain Melton's family and his loved ones, and to all of those who are suffering in this time of grief. And of course, our support goes out to his colleagues on the Kansas City Police Department, our colleagues as well. And this devastating loss is yet another reminder that our courageous officers put their lives on the line every day in order to serve the public, in order to serve us, not only in the times of heightened tensions in which we find ourselves or during ambush scenarios, as tragic as those are, but all day and every day. And the Department of Justice is committed to doing all that we can to support our officers at every level and to keep them safe from harm. And we will continue to advance that work and to keep that promise, even as we mourn the loss of yet another guardian, another colleague, another friend. Now, for today's announcement, I am joined today by Assistant Attorney General for the Criminal Division, Leslie Caldwell. I'm also joined by the United States Attorney for the Central District of California, Eileen Decker. I'm joined by FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe and Richard Weber, Chief of the Criminal Investigation Division at the Internal Revenue Service. And we are here to announce a significant step in our ongoing work to combat global corruption and to ensure that the United States offers no safe haven to those who illegally use public funds for private gain. And today, the Department of Justice has filed a civil complaint seeking to forfeit and recover more than $1 billion in assets associated with an international conspiracy to launder funds stolen from One Malaysia Development Berhad, or 1MDB, a company wholly owned by the government of Malaysia. Now, the $1 billion in assets that we're discussing today are just a portion of the more than $3 billion that was stolen from 1MDB and laundered through American financial institutions in violation of United States law. 1MDB was created by the Malaysian government to promote economic development through international partnerships and foreign direct investment, with the ultimate goal of improving the well-being of the Malaysian people. But unfortunately, sadly, tragically, a number of corrupt 1MDB officials treated this public trust as a personal bank account. Now, our complaint alleges that from 2009 through 2015, these officials and their associates conspired to misappropriate and launder billions of dollars from 1MDB. And as my colleagues will explain in further detail, the co-conspirators laundered their stolen funds through a complex web of opaque transactions and fraudulent shell companies with bank accounts in countries around the world, including Switzerland, Singapore, and the United States. Now, the funds were then used to purchase a range of assets for the conspirators and their relatives and associates, including high-end real estate in New York and Los Angeles, artworks by Vincent van Gogh, Claude Monet, and a jet aircraft. Today's case is the largest single action ever brought by the Department's Kleptocracy Asset Recovery Initiative, which was established by Attorney General Eric Holder in 2010 to forfeit the proceeds of foreign official corruption and, where possible, to use the recovered assets to benefit the people harmed. This case, and the Kleptocracy Initiative as a whole, should serve as a sign of our firm commitment to fighting international corruption. And it should also send a signal that the Department of Justice is determined to prevent the American financial system from being used as a conduit for corruption. And it should make clear to corrupt officials around the world that we will be relentless in our efforts to deny them the proceeds of their crimes. Now, of course, a case like this takes a team, and let me thank the team of prosecutors and paralegals from the Criminal Division's Asset Forfeiture and Money Laundering Section and the United States Attorney's Office for the Central District of California, who have worked tirelessly on this matter. I also want to thank the agents from the FBI's International Corruption Unit and the IRS Criminal Investigations Division who assisted them in this case. And I'm also grateful to the Criminal Division's Office of International Affairs for their vital contributions. Now at this time, I will turn the podium over to Assistant Attorney General Leslie Caldwell, who will speak in further detail about today's filing. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney General Lynch. This is really a significant milestone in the Department's kleptocracy initiative and in our general fight against global corruption. The complaint that was filed today really goes into great detail about the complex web of transactions that these co-conspirators used to launder billions of dollars that they stole from the people of Malaysia. We have several speakers today who are going to talk about different aspects of the case. What I would like to focus on for now are allegations in the complaint involving 2 bond offerings in 2012 through which 1MDB raised the money, some of the money, that was siphoned off by the corrupt officials and their associates. The stated purpose of the bond offerings was to allow 1MDB to raise money so that it could invest in various energy assets on behalf of the Malaysian government and the Malaysian people. But almost immediately after receiving the proceeds of the 2 bond issues, roughly 40% of the money that was raised, which was about 1.37 billion, the 40% was the 1.37 billion, was transferred out of 1MDB's accounts and was transferred into a Swiss bank account that was in the name of a shell corporation incorporated in the British Virgin Islands. The complaint alleges that the name of that shell company was chosen because it sounded like the name of a legitimate company that was involved in the bond offering. But in fact, the Swiss bank account was controlled by corrupt officials and by their associates. From Switzerland, the corrupt officials and their associates transferred money using a series of transactions involving still more shell companies and more bank accounts located all over the globe. Eventually, more than $230 million of that money found its way into accounts in the names of shell companies whose beneficial owner was a close relative of a senior 1MDB official. That individual used that money to buy luxury real estate in the United States and other assets, and also used the money to fund a California-based motion picture company called Red Granite Pictures. Red Granite Pictures, in turn, used more than $100 million of that money to finance the award-winning 2013 film, The Wolf of Wall Street. Of course, neither 1MDB or the Malaysian people ever saw a penny of profit from that film or from any of the other assets that were purchased with funds that were siphoned from 1MDB. Instead, that money went to relative and associates of the corrupt officials of 1MDB and others. Because the assets were laundered money, the future rights to that film are subject to the forfeiture complaint that's been filed today in Los Angeles. The significant assistance that we've gotten from international partners in this case has really been critical in identifying and restraining assets. And I think that international cooperation and the action we're taking today, which I said, as the Attorney General said, is the largest action taken to date in connection with our kleptocracy initiative. It should really send a message to kleptocrats, to corrupt officials around the world, that the United States is not a safe haven for their stolen money, and they cannot evade law enforcement simply through the use of shell companies, nominee entities, and other structures that are essentially designed to thwart law enforcement. The Department will continue to track and will continue to seize assets that kleptocrats and other corrupt officials steal from the people of their countries. And I'd now like to turn it over to Eileen Decker from the U.S. Attorney's Office in California.
Good morning. As noted, my name is Eileen Decker. I'm the United States Attorney for the Central District of California, which is based in Los Angeles. The asset forfeiture complaints were filed this morning by prosecutors in my office in the United States District Court in Los Angeles. Another phase of this money laundering scheme occurred in early 2013 in connection with a third bond offering arranged by Goldman Sachs International. In this offering, 1MDB raised approximately $3 billion, purportedly to fund a joint venture with an entity controlled by the government of Abu Dhabi to promote growth and development in both Malaysia and Abu Dhabi. Once more, instead of using the money raised in the offering for its intended purposes, the corrupt individuals involved with 1MDB and their associates misappropriated a significant portion of the funds raised. In fact, only days after the initial bond sale, approximately $1.26 billion was diverted for the benefit of individuals associated with 1MDB. Approximately $137 million of the pilfered money was spent to purchase works of art, including a $35 million work by Claude Monet, A View of San Giorgio Maggiore in Venice. But these works of art were not put in museums in Malaysia for the benefit of the population. Rather, they were obtained to further enhance the luxury and lavish lifestyles of those stealing money from 1MDB. Funds diverted from the third bond offering were also traced to the purchase of an interest in the Park Lane Hotel in New York, and we seek to forfeit approximately $250 million invested in that luxury hotel. The laundering of the proceeds continued throughout 2013, with an additional $106 million used to purchase an interest in EMI Music Publishing. EMI is the world's third largest music publishing company by revenue, and the company has the rights to publish approximately 2.3 million musical compositions, including a number of chart-topping hits from Grammy Award-winning artists. Since the conspirators purchased the interest in EMI, it was they, and not the citizens of Malaysia, who earned money every time those songs were performed publicly, recorded, or downloaded. In seeking to seize these forfeited items, the Department of Justice is sending a message that we will not allow the United States to become a playground for the corrupt, that we will not allow it to be a platform for money laundering or a place to hide and invest in stolen riches. Thank you very much. And now I'll turn the podium over to FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe.